Since 1964, drill sergeants have been responsible for training our Army's volunteer fighting force. Fort Jackson is home to the only drill sergeant academy in our Army, and is responsible for providing drill sergeants to every training center across the initial military training enterprise. Since its inception, the purpose of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Program is to transform non-commissioned officers into drill sergeants, who in turn have the responsibility to transform civilians into soldiers, our national treasure. The thousands of American young men and women who have volunteered to answer the call of our grateful nation. The job of the drill sergeant is one of a professional trainer, coach, mentor, and leader. This is not an easy or simple job, and it comes with sacrifices that each drill sergeant must make in order to perform this extremely important mission. Those who are graduating today will spend the next 2 to 3 years on the trail training the next generation of our Army. The phrase, "on the trail," comes from the frontier days when the cattle were driven from California to Colorado to be marketed. The original drill sergeants coined this phrase because of the similar process of moving soldiers from one place to another with few problems or less along the way. There is a continued effort to move drill sergeants to that high degree of excellence and expertise for which they are known. The drill sergeant course is both stressful and challenging. The 9 weeks of the training are broken down into 12-hour days, adding up to 446 hours of instruction. This training is a privilege reserved for the best of the best. Only the top 10% of all sergeants Army-wide are eligible to attend the drill sergeant course. Not all sergeants complete this difficult period of training. On September 24th, candidates arrived. During the course, 48 sergeants were removed for various reasons, with 20 being inserted, resulting in the 96 that are graduating here today. Those graduating represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit drill sergeants who exemplify the drill sergeant creed. All 96 drill sergeants truly are the proud example of our Army, and will undoubtedly transform the next generation of civilian volunteers into soldiers that are fully capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. Ladies and gentlemen, identified by their distinctive headgear and pistol belt are the drill sergeant leaders, responsible for having trained and mentored today's graduating class. Drill sergeant leaders instruct the course in small groups of 20 candidates on average. They are highly motivated, professional, and seasoned drill sergeants who have a minimum of 1 year experience in the initial entry training environment from any of the 4 training centers and advanced individual training locations. They were hand-selected to serve as drill sergeant leaders as a result of their demonstrating expert leadership, mastery of warrior tasks and battle drills, and consistently performing at the top 1% of their peers. In addition, all have completed the Trade-Off Drill Sergeant Leader Certification Program. Please join me in a round of applause for their hard work and dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commandant of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy, Command Sergeant Major Joshua R. Biden.
Woo! Want to pump this up? All right, team, one of our organizational values is energy. And so you're going to need to match mine. So we give you an opportunity to train. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, that's not bad for a first attempt, but when you don't do it right the first time, here, you do it again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now we can train. Good morning, Captain Allen, distinguished guests, families, and friends. Thank you for joining us today for the Drill Sergeant Academy graduation ceremony for class 02425. From the attendance today, it is clear these drill sergeants have amazing families and friends supporting them. I just want to wish you all a very glorious Thanksgiving. Tomorrow and this weekend, you all have well earned it. Just remember, You know, 1st Platoon's still suffering, but you all have earned this weekend. What a great day to be a soldier. An even better day to be here, surrounded by the future of the United States Army. Represented by the Army's newest drill sergeants. The fact that the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy is the gold standard for NCO development and cadre certification is clearly on display today. My name is Command Sergeant Major Josh Biden, and I am the Commandant, proudly serving alongside the most highly motivated and well-trained drill sergeants in the United States Army. A drill sergeant is the standard bearer for the United States Army and the very epitome of what we expect of a soldier. Drill sergeants are expected to live the Army values, exemplify the warrior ethos, and be guardians of the Army profession. Drill sergeants are responsible for coaching, teaching, motivating, inspiring, and mentoring the future of the Army as they transform them from civilians to combat-ready American soldiers. A typical day as a drill sergeant starts before dawn, ends well after sundown. Drill sergeants are the first impression for every trainee and all that they know of the Army. Drill sergeants, they will emulate you. Being a drill sergeant is one of the most difficult jobs in our Army. It is also one of the most rewarding. How critical a drill sergeant is to our Army, our all-volunteer force, cannot be overstated. Nor can the sacred trust that is being bestowed on you today. American families across this great land entrust you with their most prized possession, their children. The future of America is being placed in your care for the most formative time in their Army careers. Your impact will last a lifetime. Just as you remember your drill sergeants, so will the soldiers you train. Will you be remembered for how you invested in them, believed in them when they didn't believe in themselves, always enforced the standard, and challenged them to keep going? Or will you be remembered for something else? Class 02425, congratulations on accomplishing this daunting challenge. You met or exceeded every standard. You surmounted every obstacle. But the challenge is just beginning. Enjoy the time between now and when you report. Enjoy the holidays. Take time with friends and family. Take time to reflect on the challenge that lies ahead and what you hope to achieve. There will be times when you are tired, hot, cold, hungry, and more. Look to your battle buddies during those times and spur one another along. Your experience as a drill sergeant will be directly impacted by the battle buddies you have and are. The task is great. You are charged with nothing less than training tomorrow's leaders. The Army, the country, and the Constitution depend on you. Today's guest speaker is Captain Earl B. Allen. Captain Allen joined the Army in 2009 as a 25 Lima. Probably feels like a long time ago that you were one of those, sir. He was also a drill sergeant in 239 Infantry before he converted to what we call in the NCO Corps the dark side. But he makes more money than I do now, so I mean, there are pluses and minuses to all of life's decisions. The long list of assignments and numerous organizations demonstrate his exceptional performance, character, and stewardship of the profession. Please join me in welcoming Captain Earl D. Allen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On behalf of Colonel Alexander, Command Sergeant Major Johnson, Command Sergeant Major Bible, Sergeant Major Palmer, and the entire LTB staff, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to speak at this event, and most importantly, congratulate each and every one of you on your accomplishments of becoming drill sergeants. I want each of you to look around you, on your left and on your right, The faces you see are no longer just classmates. You are the next generation of standard bearers and the guardians of discipline. You are the next generation of leaders who will shape the future Army of the United States, one soldier at a time. I stood where you stand right now 9 years ago, serving in many positions, from senior drill sergeant to company commander. My boots were dusty, my uniform soaked in sweat, my heart was pounding with pride. A little bit of fear and anxiety, only because I knew that what came next wasn't going to be easy. The hat, the badge, even the title of drill sergeant doesn't just make you powerful. It makes you more reliable and responsible. Responsible for ensuring that our nation's greatest assets receive the best training possible without fault. When the trainees step off that bus and lock eyes with you for the very first time, they don't see or understand your rank. They only see a drill sergeant in the United States Army. They'll see what standards looks like and how we uphold them. They'll see strength, confidence, and control. You are their first impression of what right looks like and what it means to be a soldier. And I want you to never forget that. You're about to step into a job that will test your patience, your endurance, and your character. You'll sacrifice sleep, time, and comfort. You'll question yourself on long nights and early mornings, but let me be the first to tell you that the effort that you give will only come back to you 100 times better in the form of pride and accomplishments when you see that young man or woman who couldn't once do a single push-up, stand proud in the formation, ready to defend our nation because of you. Now, before you fulfill your commitment as a drill sergeant, I want all of us to take a moment to recognize a special group of individuals who are equally as important on your journey, and that is your families, your spouses, your parents, your children, and the loved ones who continue to support you throughout this journey. Many have shared ups and downs with you and continue to do so even through the hardest of times. All the late nights, early mornings, and long stretches of time apart. They are the quiet strength behind the uniform. So to the families and loved ones in the audience, thank you for your continued support. They're definitely going to need it. At this moment, this transition, this transformation, this significant emotional event, you'll recognize that this is why we do what we do. Not because we hate what's in front of us, but because we love and cherish what we leave behind, which is our legacy. Remember, the Drill Sergeant Creed isn't just words, it's a promise to train soldiers to the highest of standards, to embody professionalism, and to lead by example. You are the living, breathing standard of excellence, and the standard never sleeps or takes shortcuts. As you put on your campaign hat and step into that trail life, remember who you are and what you represent. Be firm, but be fair. Be demanding, but never demeaning. Let your audio match your vision in all your efforts. Push your soldiers hard, but push yourself and your battle buddies even harder. Because for every yes drill sergeant you hear is proof that you are shaping the backbone of the greatest army on earth. Today you graduate, tomorrow you lead. From this day forward, you will carry the weight of tradition, honor, and sacrifice made by so many before you. From one former drill sergeant to another, I tell you that there is no greater honor or privilege than being called a drill sergeant in the United States Army. Have fun, be humble, make time count, but most importantly, take care of each other. Congratulations to Class 024-25, and welcome to the Drill Sergeant Corps. The legacy continues with you, and remember that nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. Warrior 6, this will defend, and victory starts here! Right here.
The Drill Sergeant Academy would like to recognize the training and staff supporters of the cycle for their exceptional professionalism and dedication to excellence in support of the unit's total mission. Presenting the supporter awards is Drill Sergeant Leader Romero. The training and staff supporters of the cycle are Deputy Senior Drill Sergeant Leader Tremaine Reeves and Staff Sergeant Timothy Nicastro. Their behind-the-scenes attention to detail kept training on track with limited distractions. Please join me in a round of applause for the support awardees. Drill and ceremony is the basis for standards and discipline in the initial entry training environment. During the course, the drill sergeant candidates are instructed and assessed on their ability to perform and teach drill and ceremony positions and movements, culminating with a drill and ceremony competition. The squad that displayed the highest level of proficiency is awarded the drill and ceremony trophy to be displayed until the following cycle. For class 024-25, the drill and ceremony competition winner is 6th Platoon, 2nd Squad, who was led by Drill Sergeant Geneva Sains. Please join me in a round of applause for the winning squad of the drill and ceremony competition.
Take seats.
At the Drill Sergeant Academy, it is tradition to appropriately recognize those who distinguish themselves by their outstanding performance. In keeping with this tradition, the following awards are presented. The Drill Sergeant Leader of the cycle is the Drill Sergeant Leader who displayed the highest contribution to the entire platoon, created an impeccable learning environment, and displayed a standard for all graduating drill sergeants to follow. For class 024-25, the Drill Sergeant Leader of the cycle is Drill Sergeant Leader Vontez Long. At this time, First Command will present the Drill Sergeant Leader of the cycle with a gift for their outstanding leadership. At this time, the Commandant of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy, Command Sergeant Major Joshua R. Vital, will present the Drill Sergeant Leader of the cycle with the Commandant's coin for their outstanding leadership. Please join me in a round of applause for the Drill Sergeant Leader of the cycle. Deputy Senior Drill Sergeant Leader Rodriguez will now present the graduating class their distinctive headgear. Please hold your applause and cheering until the awardees have been acknowledged. The Leadership Award is presented to the candidate who displayed the highest degree of professionalism and demonstrated sound judgment while performing in leadership positions. The Leadership Award recipient and member of the Commandant's List is Drill Sergeant Francesca Fontanez Gonzalez, Fort Gordon, Georgia. The Iron Drill Sergeant Award is given to the candidates who displayed the highest degree of physical fitness during the Iron Drill Sergeant Fitness Test. The Iron Drill Sergeant Award recipient is Drill Sergeant Cameron Druggage, Fort Benning, Georgia, with a score of 500. Each awardee will receive a token for exceeding the standard while in the course. At this time, the Sergeant Audie Murphy Club will present the awardees with a gift for their outstanding performance. Please join me in a round of applause for the awardees. following drill sergeants exceeded core standards, demonstrated exceptional physical fitness, and maintained a grade point average in the top 20% of their graduating class. For these achievements, they are rightfully placed on the Commandant's list. Drill Sergeant Luke Anderson, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Nolan Bilbo, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Louisan Cecilia Villanueva, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Kyle Reyes, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Michael Sands, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Ed Marie Santana Camacho, 1st MSC, Puerto Rico. Drill Sergeant Lily Vandermark, Fort Lee, Virginia. Please join me in a round of applause for the Commandant's list. Ladies and gentlemen, the following drill sergeants are graduates of class 024-25. Please hold your applause, ensuring until the last drill sergeant is acknowledged.
Drill Sergeant Robert Daly, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Ryan Bailey, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Paul Bartek, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Christopher Beebe, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Octavo Benito, Fort Lee, Virginia. South Carolina. Drill Sergeant John Chilton, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Gideon Meadows, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Aaron Clausen, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Esmeralda Corey, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Thomas Porter, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Ariel Devia, Fort Benning, Georgia. Woo!
Drill Sergeant Kurt Davis, Joint Base, San Antonio, Texas. Drill Sergeant Ronald Dvorsky, Joint Base, San Antonio, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Joe Garcia, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Joanne Coleman, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Myra Green, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Juan Gutierrez, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Sean Haley, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Sherrod Harrell, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Paul Hart, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Darren Hayes, 108 Training Command. Drill Sergeant Jason Anderson, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Jose Pereira, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Jefferson Hernandez, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Emily Corky, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Drill Sergeant Juliana Ibanez, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Cody Johnson, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Mason Johnson, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Sharita Johnson, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Woo! Go girl!
Drill Sergeant Christopher Dolly, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Michaela Tate, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Miranda Culver, 108 Trading Command. Drill Sergeant Janetta Lee, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Micah Lee, Fort Littlewood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Marcus Lamani, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Daniel Lopez, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Love you, sis.
Drill Sergeant Garrett Lopez, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Julia Madsen, 108 Trading Command. Drill Sergeant Destiny Marboyson, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Allison Marks, Joint Base, San Antonio, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Shaheed McLeod, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Ryan McKinney, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Cody Medlock, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Sergeant Urban American, Fort Huachuca, Arizona.
Drill Sergeant Ariana Casamante, Port Sale, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Keyboard Haynes, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Let's go, man.
Drill Sergeant David Preston, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Matthew Presley, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Kamal Kuratani, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Victor Ramos, Fort Leavenworth, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Arnold Rivera, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Richa Rodriguez, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Geneva Say, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Catherine Salas, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Taylor Skidmore, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Javier Solis Sanchez, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Semiatu Sawatama, Fort Leavenworth, Missouri.
Go, War Dog!
Drill Sergeant Rondu San Lily, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Okay.
Drill Sergeant James T. 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Gasly South, Fort Leonard, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Ali Bay, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Tina Van Valen, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Marquise Washington, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
They don't want that smoke.
Drill Sergeant Austin Whitman, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Jacob Wunzel, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Go Big Red.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the Army's newest drill sergeant. At this time, Leadership Awardee Drill Sergeant Fontanes Gonzalez will present a token of appreciation to the guest speaker, Captain Allen Jr.
Sir, on behalf of class 024-25,
Immortals!
please accept this token of appreciation for your kind words of wisdom.
You have become what you set out to be, a drill sergeant in the United States Army. The Drill Sergeant Creed is your declaration of your unshakable commitment to the ideals this nation was founded upon and continues to guarantee. At this time, drill sergeants, past and present, please stand as the drill sergeant leader of the cycle, Drill Sergeant Leader Long, leads the graduating class in reciting the Drill Sergeant Creed. The Drill Sergeant Creed is not a creed for every non-commissioned officer in the Army. The honor and privilege is given to these non-commissioned officers to transform America's sons and daughters from civilians to soldiers, to fight and win wars of this great nation.
That's Platoon the flag. I am a drill sergeant.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song and remain standing.